Good morning to you. We are continuing our breaking winter storm weather coverage for you this morning. A large portion of East Texas under that winter storm warning right now. That's why many schools and businesses are closed. And this weather situation, while nothing like last February, will continue to develop over the next few hours. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony here with me right now, along with Colleen Campbell in just a few moments, keeping us up to date on the situation. Some people still getting rain, Brett, but there are portions of East Texas that are seeing ice, which is very dangerous. It
is very dangerous, Dana. Good morning, everybody. What we have now is still that winter storm warning that's going in effect until 6 p.m. and that is for some sleet and snow accumulations up to 1 inch, maybe some ice close to 1/4 of an inch. That's going to be these areas that are shaded in the pink. Those are the areas that have already seen some ice, especially out to the west toward Canton, which we'll show you in just a little bit. But also up toward Mineola, there's a little bit of ice being reported, and Gilmer. And then we go farther to the east. This is new information that has come in within the last hour. A winter weather advisory has been extended until 9 p.m. now, and that includes Angelina County, Nacogdoches County, Rusk County, and then Gregg County, and then Marion, Harrison, and Cass County on up into northeastern parts of Texas. Maybe a light glaze up there of about 1/10 of an inch. It's going to be less in the winter weather advised area and more in the winter storm warned area. Again, a little sleet snow mix is possible as we head through the rest of the day. Right now outside we've got cloudy skies. Temperature sits right at 30 degrees. Now at 30 degrees we start to be concerned about bridges and overpasses getting icy. Anything untreated also will begin to get icy. And I continue to watch this number here because if that number is lower than the air temperature, then the air temperature can continue to cool. And I expect this to happen as we head into the afternoon, falling back to about 28 or even 27 degrees. We get down that cool and you'll start to see some ice forming pretty quickly. All right, across the region here on our current surface map, we have temperatures in the mid-30s out to the east and below freezing at Canton, Emory, and Sulphur Springs. So why hasn't Jefferson, Marshall, Longview, Henderson, Carthage dropped into the upper 20s or the 30-degree range? That's because here in southwestern parts of Arkansas, there is a Ouachita mountain chain, and then you got the Kiowas over southeastern parts of Oklahoma. Notice the air is coming in and it's bumping up against those mountains. So it's damming it up and it can't get up and over the mountains. It's taking longer, and so it's taken longer for the colder air to seep into parts of East Texas. So we have rain still from Texarkana to Jefferson to Longview to Henderson to Carthage toward Nacogdoches, and now at Jacksonville to Tyler, Gilmer. We're starting to see the changeover as the cold air continues to spill into East Texas. And as that cold air continues to spill, that cold air slab gets thicker and thicker, and so as the precipitation's falling through it, it has more time to freeze, and that's why the sleet and eventual snow changeover will occur as we head through the rest of the day. There's a lot of moisture to deal with. It goes all the way back here to the southwest of Austin and has to stream to the northeast. So this is by no means close to over, and that's why that winter storm warning goes until 6 o'clock. So we've got about 4, 5, 6 more hours of light sleet, snow, rain, and freezing rain across the area, including there in Canton, where the current temperature is at 26 degrees with light snow falling right now. We've seen a little bit of ice out in parts of Canton, Van Zant County, close to Interstate 20. That's where meteorologist Chandler Jordan has camped out this morning, and he has watched this transition. Chandler, you've seen it go from rain to freezing rain, and now it's looking like that. Yeah. The winter storm warning in parts of Van Zant County, that is verifying this morning.
Yeah, I think so. I'd absolutely agree that the warning verified. You know, as you had mentioned, we were out here at 4:30 this morning, and it started off with a cold rain. But then once we got to about 5:15, that's when we started to see a transition from a cold rain into a freezing rain. And ever since then, it's been a freezing rain mixed in with some sleet at times. Looking at my feet, you might think this is some snow, but really this is just all of the sleet accumulation that we've seen so far, providing almost a snow globe-like picture here in Canton. As you can see behind me, we're at the Arbors, which is where First Monday is located, and it's actually supposed to start today. You see a Jeep going by, maybe to go set up shop here in Canton, but for the most part, it's been a ghost town, not really seeing too much in the ways of traffic as well. We're located here on North Trade Days Boulevard, right off of Highway 19. So again, very, very cold. We've seen a consistent mix of freezing rain and sleet here over the past couple of hours. And really, once we get going into the next several hours, we're also going to start to see more of a transition from freezing rain and sleet as this makes its way into places such as Smith County, but also we'll start to see some snow mix in with that as well. Roadways are starting to get more and more treacherous, especially here in Canton, as we continue to add and add more freezing rain and sleet into the mix. You can see that we've got some black ice on the roadways, trucks going by, having a good time and having a little fun out here on a snow day. But again, if you have, unless really it's an emergency, I'd say there's no reason to be out here today just because of how cold it is, how much we're going to have to deal with ice accumulations as we head into the afternoon. And I want to look over here as well, because you'll notice in the background you can see the American flag and the Texas flag whipping in the wind. And there's also an additional bite in the air thanks to the breeze that's also associated with this storm system, which is adding more of a chill in the air. So I think Brett said our air temperature is 26 degrees. Likely with the wind chill, I wouldn't be surprised if we were in the low 20s or even approaching the teens. And those are going to continue to cool on off as we head into the night tonight. So again, whatever you got to do to stay warm, stay toasty, maybe your favorite hot chocolate, coffee, or tea, whatever it might be, a perfect day to do that, and really just stay inside as we continue to bring you coverage. And again, just make sure you're doing everything you've got to do to stay warm and stay safe with your loved ones. And of course, if you get some awesome looking photos in your yard, you can always share those with us over on our CBS 19 app. You can click the Near Me button, and from there, share your photos with us. We'll share them on social media, and we can kind of just take in what we've got here, which is turning into an ice and eventually a snow day as well, Colleen. So I hope y'all are warm and toasty there, and I know you've got some more updates for us.
Hey Chandler, yes I do. That looks like quite the winter wonderland behind you. Hard to believe that it's Canton and first trade days, because man, it does look like a ghost town. I saw Quilt World was behind you, so you're probably standing in the right spot. Maybe steal a nice little quilt there. So Brett Anthony was talking about current conditions, as well as Chandler Jordan giving us a look outside. Let's talk about the future. So this is what we're looking at over the next couple of hours here. As we've kind of been harping on, we're waiting for these temperatures to drop down to sub-freezing marks, for that precipitation to change over to sleet for the rest of the region. We have already seen that trend the last few hours here for our northeast corner. Going further into this afternoon, yeah, the moisture will start to dry up, but until that happens, we're still going to get these temperatures falling. And as long as that moisture is coming down from the sky and those temperatures are dropping, well, our likelihood of seeing more sleet and more of a solid mixture instead of freezing rain is a little bit higher. So we are looking at that possibility as we go into the next couple hours here, likely to paint a winter picture, and it's really going to make for an icy commute tonight and tomorrow morning, and that's why you really have to be careful. Future ice accumulation, again, Brett Anthony was going over this a little bit earlier. Now this is, keep in mind, not just ice, it's also some sleet, but we could have 1/10 of an inch up to 1/4 inch in some select spots. And get this, wind chills for tomorrow morning will likely be in the single digits in some areas. When we have wind chills in the single digits, that means that frostbite can occur in a half hour, maybe less. You also can get a little frost nip, which is before frostbite. So if you do have to go outside for tonight, or if you know anybody that unfortunately doesn't have heat in their home, or you want to make sure that they have blankets, things to keep warm, make sure their extremities are covered as far as their fingers, their head, their toes. Wool socks are a great option, because if your feet do sweat while you do get warm, that moisture from the wool is going to wick out. Winter storm warnings, watches, advisories, we went over that towards the beginning of the show, but this is a wind chill advisory that is for some of our deep East Texas counties. Houston and Trinity counties under that until tomorrow morning. And a quick little reminder here, black ice, that's something that we are watching out for. Black ice is basically a very thin layer of ice, so thin that it's almost transparent. So it just looks like a wet roadway, and it's hard to spot. On the 7-day forecast here, we already reached today's daytime high, only getting colder from here. You can see if you're waiting for sunshine and 50-degree temperatures, well, they will be on the way, but we have to get through these next couple days. Next couple mornings especially, we will be in the lower 20s. For now, I'm going to pass it back to Dana.
All right, thank you, Colleen. That black ice is enough reason to keep you off the road. It's so scary. A place that is starting to see rain turn over to sleet is the Lindale area. Highway 69 and Interstate 20, we all know it's a very busy area. And there's also an overpass, which we know tends to freeze first. We want to check in with our Mariah Cundiff, who has been out there all morning long for us. How's traffic flowing there right now, Mariah?
Hi, Dana. Yes, so just like you said, we've been out here since about 4:30 this morning, and since then we've experienced rain, sleet. It's been crazy. It's very, very cold right now. Honestly, traffic has been coming and going. It's starting to slow down a bit, but I would still urge drivers to definitely slow down on the roads and take their time, because with the sleet, we are seeing ice developing on cars around us and even our company car right here, and it's getting very slick out, so just be mindful of that. And also looking out for freezing rain. I don't know, the best way for me to describe it, it kind of feels like a Sonic slushy drink out here. Like, it's kind of hitting my face. It's numbing. I would definitely recommend staying inside and watching a good movie with the heat on blast and a nice blanket over driving out. So I would definitely recommend staying indoors instead of coming out unless you absolutely have to. Back to you at the desk.
All right, thank you so much, Mariah. Even when it's raining outside, it can be tough to travel on the interstate, so do be careful. Speaking of that, DPS troopers are patrolling the roads this morning, and they will be all day long, ready to help drivers who need them and to respond to any crashes on the wet, potentially icy roadways around East Texas. Sergeant Jean Dark with DPS is joining us by phone this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dana.
Sergeant Dark, I think a lot of us are pretty leery about getting on the roads after last February's winter storm. How did last year's storm really help you prepare for these future icy events?
Well, it definitely has us monitoring weather, making sure that our counterparts with the Department of Transportation, helping with the brining of roadways, pinpointing areas that might be troublesome, more troublesome than others.
How's the morning going so far on the roads?
So what I can report to you is really pretty good news, at least for this morning's hours. As of about midnight, we had only worked 3 traffic crashes, all 3 very minor, with minimal injuries. The concern, like Brett was pointing out and your other reporters were pointing out, is that as the temperature falls, that precipitation that's on the roadway potentially turning to ice, especially on those elevated surfaces.
So what would your advice for East Texans be this morning as we head into the evening, which you mentioned that black ice is so scary, and the thing that's so scary about it is you can't see it.
Right. And so obviously if you don't have to get out, don't. But if you do, people have a tendency to be a bit overconfident in some of their driving abilities. So I would caution that to slow down, right? Drastically slow your speed. Increase your following distance around other vehicles. Always buckle up, right? Monitor the weather, the temperatures, right? You can also go on drivetexas.org to monitor the roadways in your particular area.
And Sergeant Dark, I've been looking at Drive Texas this morning, and as you head west out towards Canton and going into the Dallas-Fort Worth area all the way over to West Texas, there is a lot of ice on the roads. And we do know a lot of people have to travel for work, so probably best maybe to delay those plans, it appears.
Yeah, definitely. And if you do, you had mentioned the black ice. If you do hit the black ice, the best rule of thumb is to do as little as possible. Generally, they're not large surfaces, so you can allow your vehicle to pass over it. Definitely do not hit the brakes. Try to keep your steering wheel straight, and if you feel like the back end of your car is sliding left or right, make very gentle turns of the steering wheel in that same direction.
And stay calm. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things you can do in a situation like that. It's our human nature to want to tense up and fix the situation. But in this situation of black ice, you just kind of have to go with the flow almost.
That's exactly right. You've got to stay calm. But really, knowing your area that you're traveling in, paying attention, knowing where those bridges, overpasses are, and slowing your speed prior to even getting there.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. Give us a few tips, stuff that we need to be mindful of all the time, especially when it's raining or snowing or sleet or ice. So we do appreciate it. Thanks so much. Be careful out there.
Thank you.
Well, other parts of the state getting hit by winter weather. Look at this. This is Granbury, their downtown courthouse area. Doesn't it look gorgeous? But it is not a place you want to be, right? The emergency management coordinator sent our Dallas station this picture. It looks oh so lovely from this angle, but we're just going to keep it there. We'll look at the picture and not go out and check it out for ourselves. Road crews also working 24/7 across the state, as Sergeant Dark told us, to keep you safe and the roads clear as possible. Now, here's a look at TxDOT plowing snow and ice off of the roads in Dallas this morning. They are already seeing some snow accumulation. TxDOT says they are treating those spots, but they are asking you to stay home if you can. And out west, they are getting dusted with snow and ice. The snow started in Lubbock yesterday, and they got more into the night. It did cause some accidents around town, and over in Sweetwater, it was bumper to bumper for 5 hours on Interstate 20. That's why you don't want to drive. TxDOT is working around the clock across the state to keep those roads as safe as they possibly can. Well, when we get freezing temperatures, we know it can lead to power outages, and it already has this morning in East Texas. Demand is up as people across the state try to stay warm, and we've heard from ERCOT that the power grid is ready to handle that, unlike last February. We all remember that, when a lot of us were in the dark. Now, here's the latest on outages across our area right now. ONCOR reporting 422 in Hopkins County and SWEPCO, with just about 261 in Harrison County. All right, we want to check back in with meteorologist Brett Anthony, who's monitoring the situation for us out there. Brett, it's amazing how much has changed over the past few hours in the Canton area. It was rain when we started all of this about 4:30 this morning. It's been a while now, right? But now definitely looks so much icier out there.
It does. And we started with Chandler at 4:30. It was all rain. And then by about 5:30, we started to see just that little slight changeover, a little glaze. And he was talking about little sleet pellets. By the 6 o'clock hour to 7, it was starting to form on the Canton sign on the letters. It had a light glaze on all of the letters. And then by about 7 to 7:30, it started now to accumulate to the grass. And then he showed us some accumulating on to Interstate 20 near that sign. So it has progressively gotten worse, and we expected that. And we expect this to play out this way as we head through the rest of the morning. That's why the winter storm warning is in effect for these counties shaded in pink. That does include Upshur County and Wood County, right? Camp County is also included in that. And then you've got Titus County. And then we go back to the west, and you've got Hopkins County, Rains County, Van Zant, Henderson, Anderson, and of course Houston County. And also Cherokee County added to that late yesterday, and that goes until 6 o'clock tonight. And then the county shaded in purple, lighter amounts of precipitation over there. That goes until 9 o'clock. So we may not be done with a little light, maybe freezing drizzle or light snow or just light sleet until about 9, and that'll give us an icy glaze through that time. So those are the current winter storm warnings and advisories that we have in place right now. Outside, look what the visibility is doing, and this is a good indication that there is colder air moving in over top of perhaps a warmer surface. Remember, temperatures yesterday were in the 60s, and so now you're getting all of that condensation kind of coming together, and it's really reducing the visibility. The temperature's down to 30. So now I'm concerned, and as Sergeant Dark talked about, having bridges, overpasses, perhaps some untreated secondary roadways, sidewalks. Colleen Campbell has mentioned this several times. Elevated surfaces such as your back deck, a porch, a patio, front steps. These can get icy, and these can get icy quickly. On top of that, we have strong northwest winds at 16 miles an hour, and so the wind chill values are already dropping. So here's the current surface setup. And as we look at the surface setup, I'll explain a couple of things. You'll notice that some areas over East Texas, for instance, Longview's at 35, Henderson's at 37, Nacogdoches at 38, and Lufkin's at 39. So these areas are warmer, and the winds are almost due out of the north or to the northeast. If you look back here, where Terrell, Canton, Emory, and Sulphur Springs, we have more of a northwesterly wind there. So what's going on? Why have we seen colder air flow in from the northwest? Well, over the southern Oklahoma, there's a mountain range called the Kiowas right here. So there's a little bit of blocking going on there. Then you have the Ouachita Mountains, which extend up to about 2,800 feet. And the air mass at this time earlier today was only at about 2,400. So you can see how it got blocked. Well, it's finally seeping its way through those hillsides and over top of those mountains. and making it into East Texas now. And some of the winds have turned to the west-northwest, so some of this air that's out here, very frigid air in parts of Oklahoma and West Texas, is now unabated and running and rolling into East Texas. So that's why we're starting now to finally see that changeover. And now it looks like even into parts of Gregg County, there's a little bit of pink showing up. So green is rain. Pink is a mixture of rain, freezing rain, and then if you get into purple, you're talking about freezing rain and sleet. Then you go back to the blues, and you're talking about snow. So it can mix and change almost at every second or every minute, just as the column of air cools and changes depending on the precipitation rates. So in other words, you're just going to see a mixed bag of everything imaginable in terms of winter weather. So rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow, but rain eventually transitioning over. And right now that transition line appears to be Gilmer to Tyler to just west of Henderson to Jacksonville down to Palestine. And it goes all the way back down here to Austin. So this is several hours from ending. Fortunately, it's not heavy. It's kind of light right now, but it will accumulate, and that's why we still think there's a possibility of up to half inch or inch of sleet and snow over parts of East Texas with a light glaze out to the east. Look at these temperatures. 37 now at Henderson. We're down to 30 at Tyler, 28 at Mineola. Let's watch the bridges, overpasses up there. Let's watch everything at Emory, Canton, and Athens, where temperatures have dropped into the mid-20s. Mid-20s, that's when things really start to freeze up fast and can get icy. So we'll continue to track that, of course, throughout the morning. Are we going out to Chandler again in Canton? I know he's been out there all morning long. All right, we're going to go back to Dana, who at the desk. Dana?
All right, appreciate you so much. Thank you, Brett. Well, as we mentioned, we are watching the power situation across Texas and here in East Texas. Fortunately, everything's going pretty smoothly in East Texas right now, just a handful of outages. We've got Charles Hill with ONCOR. That's the state's largest energy delivery company. He's on the phone with us this morning. Good morning to you, Charles.
Good morning, Dan.
Hey, Charles, how did you prepare for this winter storm this time around, all of your crews out there, to best serve East Texans?
Sure. We prepared for this storm just about like we do almost any storm, whether it be a tornado or a hurricane. We watch the weather for weeks in advance or for days in advance, and we're prepared to move crews wherever we have to. Over the last couple of days, we have put almost 1,500 additional resources, additional crew people in our service territory, scattered throughout where we expected the storm. We've been staging material, poles and transformers and wire and things like that. And so we feel like we are poised to respond very well to this storm.
Talk a little bit about those crews. Are they working much longer hours right now to ensure that if something happens, say a power line goes down, that they can quickly get that back up and running so that people can stay warm in their homes and at work and of hospitals and all those places?
We do. Because of the nature of the storm, we have crews on staff 24 hours a day. They'll work 16-hour days and rest 8. And then be back at it just as quickly as they get their rest time. So we have plenty of resources for this storm, and feel like we can handle what's coming at us.
I know when we get weather like this, it's not just the demand that can knock out power. We've seen that happen, though. It happened last year. What other factors are you dealing with that could take out power in someone's home?
Well, we live in the most beautiful part of the state, trees and that sort of thing. The problem is trees and ice and electricity don't mix. And so that's the major issue that we have at this point is the trees get loaded down with freezing rain and ice. They lean down and break our lines or just short out our lines. And so there's a lot of broken limbs and broken cross arms and broken wire when we get this kind of storm.
Real quick, what's the best way to get your power restored if it goes out?
When you contact ONCOR, just call our 800 number and give us a call. And my mind is going totally blank on that 800 number.
That's okay. It's online.
Yeah, it is. It's online. Or you can sign up for our text outage numbers and respond that way.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking time to be with us and update us on the situation and how your crews are working. Be safe out there and hope all your crews are safe during this winter storm.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, with this winter weather changing by the minute, you've seen Brett talk about it all morning long, and Chandler Jordan, as well as Colleen Campbell. You'll want to download the CBS 19 News app to your phone or to your tablet. We will send you alerts about the weather and its impact on roads and schools immediately. We'll also be streaming live weather updates throughout the app throughout the day. Just search for CBS 19 in the App Store or on Google Play. Well, don't go anywhere. We are just getting started. We'll have more of this throughout the day, your winter storm weather coverage here on CBS 19, both online and over the air. We just want you to be safe out there, and we're so glad you spent some time with us. Have a good one.